Hello Year 6, this is lesson 9 of your 2-week writing journey, when you're writing a first-person recount as a citizen living in Pompeii. Today is Thursday, 28th of January. Now, yesterday you learned how to use semicolons and colons correctly, and you wrote several sentences that incorporated both semicolons and colons. Today you're going to be writing your third paragraph, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of those sentences and display them in this third paragraph to show that you understand how to use them. So, I'd like to give you a little bit of feedback about what we've noticed so far. Let's just cover this up a little bit so you don't see it all together. Firstly, we are impressed with how you are working on your writing at home. Many of you are applying yourself so hard and really thinking about what your character would be thinking and feeling and showing those in your writing. So well done those of you that have done that. However, there's a few things that some of you may need to look at just to check, so we thought we'd talk you through them to see. So first of all, keep remembering to check your spellings. I know when you're writing it's really difficult to think about, oh, is that spelled correctly? Remember, purple dot over it as you're writing, and then when you're going to the edit mode, edit 1, you can actually check those spellings. And by doing that, you're not breaking up the flow of your writing. Presentation. Some of you, absolutely, or most of you, absolutely superb with your presentation. You are keeping to the expectations that we would expect from a Year 6 child writing a piece of writing in their topic books. However, a few of you are just letting that presentation slip a little bit, please. Don't let it slip. Keep the writing, the presentation expectations as high as you would normally do them in class. Check your punctuation. There's some ambiguity going on. Does it read? Is the punctuation there so that we can read it exactly how you want it to be read? Are you reading back your work to check that it's making sense? A couple of you missing out the key words. Go back and check that you've done it. And some of you haven't ticked off your slow write in the margin. Please go back and do that now. And if you have missed anything in that slow write in the paragraph 2, why don't you edit whatever you've missed into the paragraph if you can. Thoughts and feelings are not being consistently shown. Some of you are going just into a recount, then it happened, then it happened, then it happened. I want your thoughts and feelings within the recount. And tense. Make sure you're still past tense. Use the strips that I showed you in the lesson to keep you right. Okay, so once you've done all that and checked over your work and responded to that feedback, then I'd like you to continue with the lesson. So, within your packs that I sent you yesterday, I sent you another clip, a link to this clip here. You watched it up to 2 minutes 46 seconds yesterday. Now I want you to, just get rid of this. I want you to watch from 2 minutes 46 seconds to almost the end, 5 minutes 53 seconds, because this bit that you're seeing now it's the crescendo. It's where everything is happening. It's where you're in your timeline. The worst is going to happen at this point, and everything that you see in here, you can then talk about in your writing. Now, with that in mind, whilst watching, you may want to have a piece of paper with you to write down the really good descriptive words and phrases and clauses that are being used within this section of the clip. I know I did when I watched it, and I've magpied some of those for my piece of writing. You might recognise them when I start modelling my writing to you. So, leave this lesson now, go and watch this video on the link that I've given you, and then when you have done that, you might want to watch it a couple of times. When you're happy with you've used it as much as you can, come back to me and we'll move the lesson on. Okay, Year 6, I wanted to just show you this because you have been working on this unit for almost 2 weeks now, and you've pulled together lots and lots of tools to help you do a really effective piece of writing. Now on paragraph 3, we're still in past tense. We're still doing description, thoughts and feelings, but we're showing a shift in feelings from the previous paragraph. There's panic everywhere in this paragraph, and it's got to come through loud and clear in your piece of writing. and it's got to have that cohesion. Where are you going to go for all this help? Well, look here. Your ideas, your notes that you made in your film, your timeline, your census sheet that you filled in, all the research that you did right at the very beginning. Go to the word bank. Oh, you've got a Waggle to look at as well. You might be able to get some ideas from that. And of course there's my modelled example. For every single one of these things, you can go to all these places to get some help. Now I want to talk to you about the slow write approach that you did on Tuesday. That showed you how to use cohesion. So I want you to vary your sentence starters and to use figurative language within your sentences to continue with the cohesion that you created in your paragraph 2. So apply the slow write approach. Decide what you are going to put in your paragraph 3, and pop it in the margin. Are you going to start with a verb, an ing word? Are you going to start with a subordinating conjunction? What are you good at? How are you going to structure your paragraph so that you have cohesion? You might want to think a little bit about that now. And then when you're ready, move on to the next slide. So, paragraph 3. Let's see. Now, in paragraph 2, we left my character just standing there with her friends, absolutely staring in horror at what was unfolding in front of her eyes. So now I'm going to start writing this one. I've got to make sure that I'm going to show this panic everywhere. So I'm going to start off by saying, because it was dark there, I'm going to say it got even darker. It got darker and darker, turning day into night. Now that phrase I had magpied straight from the video because I thought it was really good, and you might want to use that as well. So it got darker and darker, turning day and day into night, and you couldn't. I'm good because it's I'm doing a recount and it's going to be informal. I wouldn't use formal language in this situation, so I'm using a contraction. You couldn't see the hand in front of you. Okay, I could read that one back. It got darker and darker, turning day into night, and you couldn't see a hand in front of you. Oh, here we go. Reading back, I found that mistake. Now, I have got two main clauses here, joined by a coordinating conjunction. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that out and I'm going to put a semicolon in. And that really will change the effect of that piece of writing here in this sentence. It got darker and darker, turning day into night. You couldn't see a hand in front of you. Okay, I like that. I'm going to keep that one. Then I'm going to borrow straight from the film again. Then came the downpour. Then came the downpour. Or came the downpour, and then came the downpour. Now, I might put an exclamation mark in there. And I'm going to try and I'm going to describe now, so it's going to be a complex sentence, and I'm going to try and describe what happened and get some sort of simile or a metaphor in. So, what happened with the downpour? What was the downpour? Getting the cohesion. I'm going to describe that. So it was ash fell from the sky. But first, like a kiss on the cheek. Ash fell from the sky, first like a kiss on the cheek, but then heavier. I wonder if I could repeat my heavier again, so I've got repetition for effect, but then heavier and heavier until all the ground was a blanket of ash. Full stop. Oh, look at that! I've managed to get a simile in, like a kiss on the cheek, but then heavy and heavy until all the ground was a blanket of ash. So I wonder if you can tell what this is that I've used here in my figurative language. I wonder if you said a metaphor. Okay, so then I'm going to think about what I would be thinking. I'm thinking, oh, it couldn't get any worse than this, could it? So just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. I might put an exclamation mark there as well. Vesuvius's apostrophe for possession, mighty roar, bounced around the city walls. And then I'm going to do a colon here. No, I'm not. I'm going to do a semicolon here, because I'm going to say what happened next. Vesuvius's mighty roar bounced around the city walls. Alice and goodness knows what else started to rain down. Okay, I'm going to read that back now. Just when I thought it couldn't get any worse. Oh look, I've forgotten my apostrophe. How many times do you do that, I wonder? It did. Vesuvius's mighty roar bounced around the city walls. Pumice and goodness knows what else started to rain down. I don't like bounced. I'm sure I could come up with a better word. Could I use ricochet? That would be quite good. Or reverberated. Reverberated, I like. Reverberated around the city walls. Okay, so I've got my semicolon in here. So now I need to think about what else I can do. So let me see. All around me, people plummet to the ground. And I'm going to, this is where I can get my colon in, because I'm going to have to describe why people were falling to the ground. So if I put my colon here, think of because they were struck by the falling debris from buildings, trees, and Vesuvius itself. Dear me. Okay, and look, I bet you've spotted that already. I haven't put a capital letter there. Okay, I'm quite pleased with that so far. But I need to now, I'm going to put a note for myself now, that when I've finished talking to you, I still need to talk about my thoughts and feelings. And I want to pull on what I saw then. I want to talk about the dogs straining at their leash, and about people panicking. I might use the word mayhem. I might want to use that as well. So that's what I'm going to do next when I've finished talking to you. So now year 6, what I want you to do is to do your paragraph. Stay here, stick to past tense, use your description, thoughts and feelings, but show your shift in feelings from the previous paragraph, and there is panic everywhere. So take your time. Okay, we're taking that one out. Take your time, and when you're finished, what I'd like you to do is to edit your work. Go back, check your spelling. Does it make sense? Is there any punctuation in there? And then go back to this editing too, which you know extremely well. Is there anything you need to take away? Can you replace it with anything else that's even better? And keep on reading it aloud to yourself. The more you read it aloud, the more sense it will make to you, and the more you'll be able to spot where you need to improve it. So year 6, when you're happy with that, you'll have now finished today's lesson. Remember to send your work to your class teacher at the end of the